Hello, everyone. I truly do hope that you had a time to mingle, to have a good lunch. I had a good lunch, I need to be honest, and you can see by my, my figure that I like to eat. But the thing is also, I hope that you had a time to chit-chat with the people here in the conference. Don't forget that this event like this is not only about sharing knowledge, it is a very important part, but also one part of sharing knowledge is to talk with each other, to change ideas, to see where we are and where our peers are in different companies, but also different industries. We need to understand that with data and AI, we are not solving industries, we are solving problems. And that's, I think, that is very important. I believe, and I have a great honor to invite to join me at the stage, Sacha Khanin, who is a CEO of Polynom AI and good friend of mine. So thank you so much, Sacha, for being here.
Hi, everyone.
I need to have just one sentence. I met Sacha almost 1.5 years ago, I think, online. And I got an invitation to become a master of ceremony at the Machine Can See conference. It was an unforgettable experience, not only because the conference was excellent, but also because of the flood back then. Yes. It was very challenging. Me and Sacha, we had a session of 8 hours rescuing people from the flood. But the thing is, what I wanted to say, the test of character. Sacha is a great guy. He's a great technology person. He understands what he's saying. And I believe that he is very much, he can answer to the topic of the panel, which is LLMs, application impact on business. So Sacha, once again, thank you for coming to Belgrade and to join us at this session.
Thanks for your hospitality. Yeah, I remember this unforgettable experience with Machines Can See. So we had a joke because of this heavy rain and flood that we should change the name to Machines Can Swim. Yeah.
That is right, that is right. Okay, so basically in this panel we are going to go through three groups of, of questions. First one is going to be building LLMs. The second one will be practical business impact of LLMs. And last but not the least is challenges and future outlook. So I would like maybe for the start, instead of presenting you and your work, I think that you can do also much better than me. Mm-hmm. Can you just share with us your experience and your team experience with developing LLMs?
Yeah, so actually in our team, most of our guys are computer vision guys. So we did computer vision applications for business, for government, for more than 12 years. And then, we met this transformers revolution. Then we met visual perception in robotics when you have to combine natural language applications with visual perception. Yeah, so this is how we get into LLM industry. So we got into LLM industry from computer vision side, not from text processing. It was very unusual, but it was our competitive advantage because when you're doing computer vision, so usually you have so heavy applications with hundreds of thousands visual channels in real time, and you have to be so robust and so cost efficient. So that's why it became our great advantage when we started adopting some national language models, because all language models were designed for GPU applications only. Okay. But when you start talking to government, to some big authorities, so the key question, where is compute power? Because many countries in Middle East, in Asia, they have a huge limitations because of export control from United States. So that's why they have shortage in GPUs. Okay. So that's why our experience how to run comprehensive models, including visual language models without GPUs, was very important for decision makers. So this is how we entered the market. So now we are doing several national projects, mostly for developing countries, when the country want to have a hardware agnostic model and specialized for their national language. And it's very specific because if we are talking English, so you have a lot of training data. If we are talking about from some Indian regions, there is no written languages sometimes, it's only spoken languages. So that's why it's very important to have some local presence to collect this data, to have a lot of tricks how to collect data, how to annotate. Yeah, and you cannot do it with just downloading open source and trying to fine-tune. Because if you try to fine-tune just public available model, okay, so I'm not a native speaker in some small languages. But when you ask the feedback from the people,
okay,
so you have the feedback that you speak to the model, to the robot, which knows your local language, but create all the sentences like Englishman.
Okay, I understand.
So that's why so the quality and satisfaction is very low.
This is like we are already given an answer like to the question why it's important to invest in resources. I think that's one of the key goals. And what is the situation here in Balkans, but not only in Balkans, like Southeastern Europe, to be quite honest. I think that the whole Europe has this kind of thing that, like putting aside Germany, who has an excellent way how they are keeping their digital part of the language. But we do have like issue with that understand that something is on paper and you need to digitalize. It's not very easy. Most of the time when we are talking about you need a high computing power, like you said. Yeah. When you have tables totally different, need to be first annotated, and after that you can take information from the tables, pictures, etc. So my question is, what are besides building the corpus, why is this building a corpus of languages fundamental for building LLMs for any type, any national language?
So if we talk about so the reasons why some opinion makers and decision makers in the countries or in big corporations want to build their own sovereign model, to be honest, so usually it's two directions. One direction, they call it for glory. So they have to create their own model, because if you want to be in the leaderboard, it's not fancy when you in the leaderboard with just fine-tuned Mistral or Llama.
Okay.
So that's why it's like bad for reputation. So second reason in this glory direction, they want to keep their talents and to attract new talents. So we're working with the talents. We know that the core of any technological business, people. So that's why you have to attract people by something new. And it's not cool for talents just to join and do some small fine-tuning of the models. If you propose to work on some specific or like national scale model, it's another level. So that's why they needed to keep talents and to attract new. And the third reason is international collaboration. So we can see, for example, now in some Turk countries, AI communities join efforts to build some like multi-country, but one basic language model. And so this is like the key to enter this club.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so another direction. Okay, and so this for glory is important for politicians, it's important for like academia, because you'll have papers, you will have some leaderboard positions. Second direction is for business. In case if you invest in the model, because of shortage of GPUs and some country-specific, some countries do not have like some massive data center. They have distributed, and looks like you have to create some country-specific architecture with focus on edge computing,
okay,
or like something like federated learning. So that's why you cannot use out-of-the-box open source solution. In fact, of course, yeah. So let's be sharp and honest. So you will use a lot of insights from open source, and you will build some hybrid. But still, you have to be very creative in adapting this model to your AI infrastructure. So then, very important thing is you know, all the stories about so Linux, but in fact companies sign contracts with not non-commercial entities. They sign contracts with some commercial operating system providers. So the same with models. They want to have some commercial operator in the country to be in charge. Yeah, because if something fails, okay, you will send complaint to Meta.
Yeah, that's right. I think that we are also, like, when we are talking about on-premise solutions, etc., I think that this kind of thing, when your business grows, you need to also have some liability to share as well, and we are talking about government. But also, like what we talk about, and you have mentioned, it's a good point how we can do crossover. It's about businesses in the end. Like, one thing is government for sure, but there is tons of application business as well. My question to you is, how do you see that LLMs are revolutionizing businesses?
We can see that now LLM is not just hype. Of course, sometimes so we can see some over expectations, but indeed it's a revolution because for a lot of industries. So I have a lot of friends who are doing like this smart speakers, AI assistants, and for them it's revolution because now it's good time to cancel all these multi-layer detectors with like speech, like voice activity detector, then automatic speech recognition, then intent classifier, NLP platform. Now they just cut all the budgets and change to end-to-end architecture when you can have just one model without all this decomposition. So in fact, it saves up to 30% of budgets on development. And it allowed them to have omni-channel models. Because, okay, so you want to have smooth experience. So, and this is the revolution when you, okay, you are in chatbot, then you're driving, it's not allowed to text while driving. Yeah. In most countries. Yeah. So you want to switch to voice channel in your hands-free. Then you enter in your smart home. And you mostly, okay, so if your baby's sleeping, because for example, I come back home late night usually, yeah, so you will not use voice channel. You need some visual channel, maybe even night vision. So, and it allows you to build architectures and products with true omni-channel opportunity. So this is one. Another one, it's the next level of customer satisfaction and customer experience. People hate chatbots. Yeah, so, and people hate, so they want to have, let's say, so one concierge or city concierge between multiple services and authorities. So, and with LLM, it allows you to keep like memory of communication, some context, history, yeah, and to support multiple topics. So this is important. Another one, we can see a lot of revolutions in autonomous driving. So it's the same, they switch to end-to-end architecture. It allows to increase like predictive power and robustness of the algorithms. Yeah, and some of my friends who are doing autonomous driving companies, so they really work heavy on video language models. And same we can see in video surveillance and public safety industry. It's a big revolution because I spent half of my life in computer vision, mostly for like access control, public safety, all these machine vision applications. And it was so disappointing when you embed like a lot of smart detectors into video surveillance system, into video management platform. But then because of limited knowledge of operator, so he cannot just put all the boxes and parameters to use it, to open the potential. Now we can see the huge niche for video copilots, which can operate even without integration into API of video management system when you have like something on the level of operation system to click on the screen, to click buttons, and operator do not have, so we do not put requirements to have some special knowledge. So this operator can just use voice request, so show me illegal parking snapshots. So it's a big revolution.
Yeah, I totally agree on what you're saying. And the issue, when we are talking about also implementing LLMs, there is so many different things and aspects that we can go to and go from. And I believe that that is important to also to understand. Like Tobias said on the first talk, what is something that company needs and what AI can do, and that intersection of these two is actually the project that the company should be having inside of the AI. Because if you don't see, from my point of view, if you don't see the full scope and full scale of the power of generative AI, LLMs, etc., you are not going to invest that much in some other business sections, because you will not understand where it is. And the only reason why you cannot see it, because in the first place you choose the bad problem to solve, because that was not the problem that your company was facing. And that, one of the things that, like I said, saw on Tobias' first keynote was that only 8% of the companies, right now in Europe, I think that's the case, only 8% is using in 5+ business processes generative AI. Because, like I said, I think that what you said, they have a little bit of pride, a little bit of trying something that maybe they don't need, and in the end, there is so many different aspects that you can just utilize inside of it. When we were talking about, you said about the implementation, integration, it's a very important part. So my question is, what do you think that differentiates successful LLM integration from just project that is basically drawing you back, below the surface?
Okay, yeah. So the key for successful deployment and sales, so this recommendation to the startups. So while you trying to sell or deploy, so your key focus should be business. Not because we can see now a lot of requests when people just need some checkbox. We have AI or we have generative AI, without think about return of investment or added value to the business. So the recommendation, so before any deployment or before any project, so you should identify who is your who will be the business owner of this product or this project, and what is the KPI of the company and impact on the added value to the company. It may be saving costs or some added value in revenue, or sometimes, and important thing, my recommendation to check the personal KPI of person who you communicate and who is decision maker on your project. It helps to be successful. So then you have to identify points of integration, which departments, or sometimes it's third-party companies like integrators, whom you should be in touch, and how you have to build connections and relationship. So it helps, because the quality of your technology and beauty of your product is important, but it's even not 50% of success.
Yeah, that's true. And also when we are talking about full implementation of the LLMs, is also about the people who are using. And most of the time, people who are using, they can also not be purely technical persons. So there is going to be, from my side, I also think that it's very important to have both ways, the developing technology, but also developing organization who can adopt it. So you can get a full scope of what LLMs can do. And I truly do believe when you get that full scope or manage to optimize it, to be completely honest, side by side, that you can see, that it really makes sense to implement LLM in the organization.
Yeah. So for most of decision makers, so it doesn't make any sense how you will solve their problem by applying LLM or using black magic. So they don't care. They want to solve their problem.
Yeah, that's right.
And I recommend to avoid
black magic. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but also like I think that when we are talking about that, you're totally right. The also thing what is raising question is like when we're talking about from the strategic standpoint, what is the way how LLM can unlock the new business value that maybe didn't exist before? Not only solving problem, but unlocking new values.
We can see the shortage of talents and shortage of workforce in some industries. So let's say in so in the United States, in Europe, there is a lack of truck drivers. Yeah. So and if you deploy some like next generation autonomous driving, so it just allows business to grow. It's not just substituting something. So it allows you to grow rapidly, much faster than with people. So so the second, some new opportunity. You can bring the search, like corporate search engines, to the next level. And by multiple researchers, you can see that so the minimal savings will be up to 20%.
Okay.
Yeah. So and results. So you can so you can apply this fuzzy search.
Okay.
And unlock some new opportunities for the business.
Of course.
Yeah, and finally, we expect the revolution in virtual AI assistants, because looks like we reached the limitation in the quality of traditional NLP,
okay.
And yeah, so applying GPT-4 plus level LLMs will change significantly the positive feedback from the customers. So finally, they will interact. They will spend time in the chatbot, in the call center, without the first phrase change. I want to speak to human.
Yeah, and like what you said previously, that we are reaching the limitation of NLP. This part, what I want also to talk about is about what are the further outlook, future outlook, but also like what are the challenges. And one of the things that I have found, of course, maybe some of you have heard or read that letter from Ilya, who is the co-founder of the OpenAI. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying his last name all the time. I make a mistake and it sounds funny, so I'm not going to do that. I will leave you to say that. Yeah, it's very hard for me to pronounce. I don't know why. But what he said that basically he thinks that that we are approaching the plateau of developing, or it's already plateau actually, developing of large language models. So what is your opinion on that, let's say, that statement from the Ilya?
Indeed, we can see that people who are doing this data annotation and data crawling from the internet, so looks like they will reach their limit very soon, because almost all data collected. And so it's on the one hand, and on the other hand, you can see no progress and no additional value from synthetic generated data. So looks like, yeah, traditional approach is very limited, and we need to go to extract data from other modalities. Okay. Like, for example, as I told you, example with spoken languages. Okay. So it looks like we will go to like call centers and to do crawling of voice, yeah, and extract text from spoken language records. So the huge domain is video domain. Yeah, and we will get, so you know, as a human beings, we have more than 80% of information about environment from our visual channel. So that's why we will see the huge impact from adding visual modality. That's right. So looks like, yeah, we will be transforming into multimodal language models, and this is a revolution. And in the same time, it will require significant increase in compute.
Yeah, and when we're talking about that, it's also raising questions. Like, to be completely honest, I'm going to try to be here a little bit of devil advocate. Doesn't mean that maybe everything I said I support privately, but with developing more computing power, that also will, in one point, also have a limit. Like, because we cannot have how to say it, we can have the infinite resource for anything. Not even GPUs, not even anything. So what I think that the next thing, the next big thing we should also go back, is coming back to the basics. And for me, basics of LLM is in the end mathematics. I believe that we still didn't utilize the full power of math actually inside of the technology. I think that we only scratched the surface of understanding, and I think there is a whole new place where we can play and maybe create something new. What do you think about this? Do you believe that math is or something else can be a solution to further development of technology?
I think we will go in multiple directions. So what we can see from the big tech companies, so they started to invest in nuclear stations. Nuclear stations, power stations.
Yeah, I saw Oracle, get license in the US to build nuclear station.
Yes. So the question now, how to build GPU clusters with 1 million plus GPUs. Okay. And we know this project, and they are very connected with nuclear stations investments. So because now it's not possible to train large models on more than 100,000 GPUs. Okay. Like 100,000 GPUs is the level of GPT-5. Okay. And for doing investment and research in GPT-6 plus, you need 1 million plus GPUs. Oh my God. And it will be direction. And if you want to be multimodal, like truly multimodal large model, so you need 1 million plus GPUs.
And that costs a little bit.
It's one direction. Yeah, sometimes it will be hundreds of $billion projects. It's one direction, like to increase the compute to train on the huge amounts of data. Another direction, and we can see a lot of papers and conferences, is optimization. Okay. Because you can compress now any model. So we're doing some projects in models distillation. So when you compress the model significantly, sometimes, for some cases, 100 plus times, you can compress the model with significant drop in accuracy. It means that your model is not optimal at all. And so the approach is how to train initially optimal models. Okay. Because now it looks like you invest millions of dollars to train like very comprehensive model, but then you can compress it without losing the quality. And the approach is how to, analytical, maybe by solving some equation, create this approach, how to train model, small model, but with target quality. And this is optimization. And we can see a lot of work in this direction. And third direction is investing in specialized hardware. Maybe in some tensor processors like Google. So Google doing most of training on tensor processors, and it allows to save billions. Yeah,
it's very interesting what you're saying. Like when we think about it, maybe we are coming back to the full circle. Like when we started developing IT in the 60s, like you and me were not born. But the thing is, we had the big computers, RAMs, and after that, we have compressed it, narrowed down, and one of the biggest, basically discovery was the possibility to do zipping of the files. Mm-hmm. And when we are talking about in the same way of we are going forward with zipping of the models. And if the model is good, that means that you're going to be a zip. So that's very, very interesting talk, to be honest. Also, when I was preparing this panel, I was looking at the Ben Affleck, when he was telling about for him how he understand the AI again in general, and LLMs as well, like ChatGPT. And it was, I can say, one of the most clearest definition, what LLM can do and what LLM should not do. Not in terms that maybe it could or not, but it's not meant to be. So if you have time, what I would like all of you to ask, when you have time, just Google Ben Affleck and explanation of LLM. You're going to be stunned how actor can understand in 3.5 minutes to explain to you why he believed that that actually for the acting business is going to be a good thing. Just to have it like in one sentence, what his basically statement is that with development of technology, LLMs, you're going to have this initial cost of producing good movies lower down. Some of the business, such as, I didn't know, big optimization processes like for, I don't know, for post-production, etc., which is basically not the essential part of the movie. It's not the heart and the soul of something that you would like to spend your time. It's actually basically this technology is providing you. And I was like, in the end, listening, yeah, that is right. It's not about, I don't see LLMs something that should replace humans. It should help us to be doing what we really like to do in the end, and to not only see what is the form, but what is the point of what we are doing. So I don't know, do you believe that that in the end, having all said of this, do you believe this is realistic, like moment where we can go, or is it going to be on some different direction maybe?
I think the right direction is to have full transparency in the models, and
like AI Act.
Yes. We will do our best to extend human productivity and possibilities, not to substitute. Because some phrases like "Don't be afraid, AI will not substitute you." People who know how to use AI will substitute you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So this is so true.
Also, when we are talking about it, I need to tackle that and to ask what's your opinion about it. We are all the time having, like I mentioned, AI Act not by pure chance, because we are all the time having this battle. Like I think it's not only in the AI, I think everywhere we can see around us, it's a battle between security and innovation. So what is your standpoint? Which one you prefer most? To have something which is really secure and you know what is happening, or something that can basically boost innovation and creativity? Because to be honest, it's not possible to have the same at the same time that easy.
It's always a the trade-off between security and some flexibility, and so you cannot have some binary answer like yes or no. It will depend on the industry. If we talk about like our health, so in the healthcare, in self-driving and some other industries, of course, security is top. If we are talking about some marketing approaches, like, so many applications now for marketing, for advertisement in AI. So it's fine if you will have some false positives. It's fine. Because sometimes people find false positives. If you check last year for the Halloween, you can Google or you can search in YouTube the advertisement of Burger King for Halloween. They used LLMs hallucinations.
Okay.
It's like some special advertisement, and all these hallucinations were very great. So were very good and suited perfectly for Halloween spirit.
That's excellent.
Yes. So sometimes you can use this false positives as some special thing.
I was talking with one of my friends, like, of course, who is from the local market, to be honest, and we were talking about this false positive narrative, and he was developing basically, of course, based on LLMs, prediction model for next best offer, of course, in communication for the where you should go and how you should go to some vacation. And the first results, like from the first campaign, was total disaster. And he says, okay, somebody who is clearly not going to Bali, they are like basically like they're gonna refuse this. Why is doing? And when they look it under the hood, what did model do? It wanted to create a false, like a negative side of the base, because it only has positive answers. Somebody say, yes, I will come somewhere based on when you put the data inside of it. And it was to that moment for him, like that model in the end had a strategy that was very normal, like to create the whole database. So I totally do agree regarding the false positive. Also, before we joined the session from the public, and also we have the question from the public. What I wanted to ask you, last before the final question, is what do you believe is going to be the next big thing after LLM in the field of AI?
I believe that LLM will unlock collaborative robotics. It will be the big revolution in not industrial, but for collaborative robotics, for home robots, and it will be so it will have the huge impact on productivity and GDP growth of the countries. So robotics, robotics, assistance, federated learning will be some next big things.
Okay.
But I have a background in robotics, so I'm waiting for this moment.
With robots.
Yeah.
Robots can swim.
Skynet.
Skynet, yeah. Are you maybe afraid about that, like to see the development, or like in the further, like, okay, this is the one point, but we're talking about robots, like this is also very, very good point. I wanted to also, because I know what was going to be the answer, to be honest. The thing is, like when we talk about robotics, it's much more than just like having robots. Like augmented humanity, for myself, I think that could be the next big thing. Like having some kind of synthesis of the AI and humans, something I believe is going to be much more similar to we have witnessed and maybe saw in Halo, like a movie and.
It will be hybrid intelligence.
Yeah, hybrid intelligence.
Hybrid intelligence, yeah, it will be the mix of natural intelligence and AI. So, yeah. By the way, so the natural intelligence is the most famous, is #1 limit in AI deployments.
Of course. And what I wanted to say, just like as a little bit of self-market for myself, is that this year, that is one of the reasons that we included Narrow AI Con as the separate collocated event. It's awesome because we truly do believe that this will be the future in the next 3 or 4 years. Right now, it sounds like a science fiction, I know that, but I would like to see maybe 4 years of now. I have very good guessing about data and cloud, hybrid system, and everything else, like a few years in advance. I believe my like prediction for the next 4 years that augmented humanity is going to be the biggest thing in the field of AI. 4 or 5 years from now, everybody's going to be talking about it, and the first major breakthrough is going to happen. So if you believe in me, like I was building the conference, maybe you should invest some of your time, maybe inspecting what is happening in that field. And you will be surprised how does it cost that much actually to develop spiking neural networks. And yeah, okay, somebody says spiking neural is not neural, but it is. Last question from my side, and I would also like to leave at least 5 minutes for 1 or 2 questions from the public, is something that is not related to like technology, but something else. And I all the time ask this to my panelists, is what is the one book, or let's say 2 books, one technical, one non-technical book, that would you like to propose to the audience to read about in the next month, for example?
So my usual recommendation, like from the dark side, read 1984.
Okay.
To understand what not to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and another one. So it's not just single book, but it's very inspiring for me personally. So now we are participating in the project called Dubai Reef. It's like a nature restoration project.
Okay.
And you can see related papers. So if you can Google Dubai Reef. It's like how to fix human mistakes. While building artificial islands, there were a lot of interruptions of like coral reefs, wildlife, and now they invest a lot into nature restoration. And this is like the set of conferences and the set of articles about Dubai Reef. So my recommendation is to check how people use underwater robotics, 3D modeling, game engines to model the sea life, and how to apply the latest achievements in technology for nature restoration.
This is excellent. This is excellent thing to see. Also, like what I would like also to check it is the Deep Blue project with Belize did. Like they're also having like the similar problem, and they have to use AI for that. Okay, once again. Sacha, in the first place, thank you for your time and being
Thanks
here in Belgrade.
Hospitality.
And I would like one big applause for Sacha.
Thank you.
So I think we are a little bit late with the time, so we started late. So we have one or two questions, maybe possibly from the public. Is there someone who would like to ask some question, perhaps? Or not? Okay, there is no question. So once again, Sacha, I would like to thank you in front of the organization.
Thank you.
And this is for you.
Okay, great.